Kung may problema ka, it's your problem. Huwag kang naniniwala sa swerte. Malas yan. Huwag kang magsisinungaling kung hindi ka lang din magsasabi ng totoo. One wrong move, magkakamali ka. Pero pag hindi ka nagkakamali, may tama ka na. Kung hindi mo na kaya, ipagawa mo sa iba. At hindi mo malalaman ang halaga mo kung wala kang kwenta. It's the simple things that make the things simple. The best things in life are not things. Tahimik lang ako, pero di ako maingay. Basta lagi mong tatandaan, kahit gaano kapangit ang araw mo, mas pangit ka. Ciao. Just live your life to the fullest, and your life will be full. At lagi mong tatandaan, wala kang magagawa kung wala kang gagawin. Good day, SS3B. So today we will tackle about what is conflict theory. So first, let us define what is conflict. Others define it as problems, misunderstanding, disagreements, or sometimes it refers to wars. Words like poor, powerless, wealth, discrimination, social class, social inequality, and violence are the words that define what is conflict theory. But now, let us understand what is conflict theory. So as we all know, we live in a society where treatment will be based on our achievements and social class. In conflict theory, those who have wealth and power attempt to keep it up by whatever means necessary, including repressing the poor and powerless. Individuals and groups in society will attempt to increase their own wealth and influence according to conflict theory. So we are aware of this kind of mindset where the rich becomes more wealthy and the poor becomes worse. So the principles of social inequality, resource division, and conflict between different socio-economic class are one of the central foundation of conflict theory. So let me give you a trivia. Did you know that the history of conflict theory can be traced back to thinkers such as Machiavelli or Thomas Hobbes, both of whom viewed humanity clinically. So modern version of conflict theory attempts to refute the functionalist approach, which considers that societies and organization function so that each individual or groups plays a specific role like organs in the body. So when we say functionalist approach, it sees society as a complex system whose parts work together to promote solidarity and stability. So this approach looks at society through a macro level orientation and broadly focus on the social structures that shape society as a whole. So it was being compared to our organs in our body because our organs work together to sustain the needs and health of our body. So, di ba minsan if one of our organs hindi na nagpa-function ng tama, maapektuhan lahat. So, it is also look like in a society. If people don't have cooperation and unity, they cannot finish a work or they cannot reach a certain goal. So the essence of conflict theory is best epitomized by the pyramid structure, which you can see in the screen. So in which an elite dictates to the larger masses. So all major social structures sa paggawa ng laws, traditions sa isang society, these are designed by the people who have more power and who are superior in the society. So as you can see in the picture, it shows the upper class, the middle class, the lower class, and slaves, which the upper class are the ones who have wealth and who are superior and who have more power. Middle class, these are who have work, they also have wealth but not so much in power. Lower class, these are the poor, they can be considered as poor. which their families or family members have no works. When we say slaves, these are the poorest from the poor. So conflict theory has many versions, and these are the Marx conflict theory, Weber conflict theory, and the feminist conflict theory, which will be discussed later on. So now, let us talk about what is Marx conflict theory. So it was first purported by Karl Marx. It is a theory that society is in a state of perpetual conflict because of competition for limited resources. As you all know, our society has a limited resources. That's why there is a competition between individuals or people. So this theory holds that social order is maintained by domination and power rather than by consensus and conformity. Na-observe naman natin yan sa ating society na kung sino yung mga mayayaman, yung may mga may kakayahan, yung meron silang mga position sa ating society, they are the one who dominate or hold social order at napag-iiwanan ang mga mahihirap. They also have special treatment than the poor people. The original proponent of conflict theory was Karl Marx. So according to him, conflict arises because of competition. Competition will always be part of our lives, especially on a certain society. As we all know, competition is everywhere. Competition sa work, sa school, sa house, sa circle of friends, and also competition sa society. But the most focus of the conflict theory is between two primary classes, and these are the bourgeoisie and proletariat. So when we say bourgeoisie, these are the group of people that represented the members of the society who hold the majority of the wealth and means. So they are considered as the upper class. So when we say proletariat naman, this includes those working class or poor people. So bourgeoisie is in the upper class, while the proletariat can be considered in the lower class or the poor. And so with the rise of capitalism, Marx theorized that hindi malabong gamitin ng mga bourgeoisie ang kanilang power to oppress the proletariat. So until now, based on our observation, when it comes to politics or socialization, powerful people use their power to make poor people more poor instead of helping them. It means, or in short, that they are taking advantage to poor people. So next, let us talk about the version of Max Weber. So Weber's conflict theory. So Max Weber refines Marx's conflict theory. Weber included an emotional aspect of conflict as well. So it is this that underlie the power of a religion and make it an important ally of the state that transform classes into status groups. So we all know that religions also plays a vital role in our society. Because of religions, there's a lot of groups that was formed. Examples of that is Catholics, born again, and so many more. So it also includes territorial communities under particular circumstances, such as ethnicity, that also plays a vital role in the society. So what we were trying to say, why we include the religion and ethnic groups as a big part of the society is that he believed that people with the same belief will held to social solidarity. So, para sa kanya, yung mga tao daw na may parehas na paniniwala o ideya o pananaw sa buhay, ay magkakasundo sila. So according to him, social interaction create a strongly held beliefs and solidarity among members of the society or members of the groups. So, I know that you are all familiar or na-observe nyo din na minsan ang dalawang tao na magkaiba ang pananaw sa buhay, hindi talaga sila magkakasundo. And I know that you're experiencing that kind of situation sa family nyo, sa mga friends, workmates, and also sa mga bebe nyo, sa mga jowa nyo, mga boyfriend nyo, sa mga babe nyo dyan. So now, let's talk about the feminist conflict theory. From the word itself, feminist, it means that it talks about female. So conflict theory has been used by feminists to explain the position of women in the society. So feminist conflict theories argue that women have traditionally oppressed by the men. So these theories would argue that conflict over limited natural resources is what led men to relegate women to domesticity. So when we say domesticity, ibig sabihin, sa bahay lang sila, gagawa sila ng mga household chores. So this interpretation of conflict theory also leads to the idea that men cannot be trusted to give power to women because this gift would conflict with their inherent nature. So, as we observe, ang lalaki ang nagtatrabaho at ang babae ay nasa bahay lang nagluluto, ganon. Kasi nakikita nila ang mga babae as mahina at nakikita din nila na ang mga babae daw ay hindi nila kayang gawin ang mga ginagawa ng mga lalaki. So, dati, women are not allowed to vote. They are also been discriminated when it comes to going to work kasi sabi nila, pag babae ka, dapat sa bahay ka lang. Gumagawa ng mga gawaing bahay. Pero today, nagbago na yon. Nagbago na yung ganyang mindset because women can do the things men do. Diba? Pansin nyo, may mga halos mga babae na ang nagtatrabaho ngayon. And then, marami na din mga babae na tricycle, na kaya na din nilang mag-ayos ng mga sirang gamit sa bahay. So, dati, ang baba talaga ng tingin ng mga lalaki sa mga babae. Pero ngayon, yung kaya niyong gawin, kaya din namin gawin mga babae. So now, let us move on to conflict theory assumptions. So in current conflict theory, there are 4 primary assumptions. 4. Hindi siya which, or siya. So which are helpful to understand what is conflict theory. So these are the competition, revolution, structural inequality, and war. So first, let us go to competition. So conflict theorists believe that competition is a constant and overwhelming factor in nearly every human relationship and interaction. So competition exists as a result of the scarcity of resources, including material, resources, money, property, commodities, and more. So beyond material resources, individuals and groups within society also compete for intangible resources as well. So this can include the leisure time, dominance, social status, and sexual partners. So di ba, magko-compete kayo sa mga crush ninyo. So yung competition kasi nandyan na lagi yan, hindi na yan mawawala. We compete because of the scarcity of resources. Diba? Sa school, sa politics, sa trabaho, sa buhay, sa pagkain, sa circle of friends, pati na rin sa pagbo-boyfriend, pati na rin kay crush. Yun, nagko-compete kayo, diba? So next, the second is the revolution. So given conflict theory's assumptions that conflict occurs between social classes, one outcome of this conflict is a revolutionary event. So the idea is that a change in the power dynamic between groups does not happen as the result of gradual adaptation. So conflict occurs between social classes, and we all know that it is between the conflict of the poor and the rich. So because of revolution, many people or society develop. There are certain revolutions that dinadaan nila sa war at dinadaan naman nila sa pagrarally or sa paggawa ng mga batas. So because of the revolution, it tends to make the voices to be heard and questions or problems to be raised. Revolutions, it gives people the opportunity na masabi nila yung mga gusto nilang sabihin, mga hinanaing nila. So, revolution may result into a positive or negative, where it can lead to progress or downfall. The third one is war, and we are all familiar with that. Conflict theorists tend to see war as either a unifier or as a cleanser of societies. Why? Unifier because it makes people unified, and cleanser because it cleans the society kasi madaming namamatay kaya ayun, nalilinisan. Sure. Cleanser, it means ibig sabihin naaayos yung mga dapat ayusin because of war, naiintindihan ng bawat isa kung anong gustong iparating o kung bakit nga ba nagkakaroon ng war. So in conflict theory, war is the result of a cumulative and growing conflict between individuals and groups and between entire society. So there's no war if there's no conflict. Diba? Bakit mag-aaway yung mga bansa kung wala silang pinag-aawayan? Mostly, one of the most reason why countries have wars because of territories, kasi ang tingin mga territories, at because of mga hindi pagkakaintindihan about mga batas, or because of alitan between the politicians or the presidents of each countries. So last but not the least is the structural inequality. An important assumption of conflict theory is that human relationships in social structures all experience inequalities of power. So in this way, some individuals and groups inherently develop more powers and reward than others. So following those individuals and groups that benefit from a particular structure of a society tend to work to maintain those structures as a way of retaining and enhancing their power. The conflict theory vividly illustrates that operation of the society by the wealthy group and influential individuals using their positions and exploiting the services from the poor. It is where equality and equity was only given to the higher classes.
Hindi mo lang tunay na magdala nung kulay at takay di siyang dahilan. Hanggat malaki ang lungkot sa kahirapan at ang hustisya para lang sa mayaman. Habang may nagsulong at sila ang nasa tuktok, di matatapos sa mundo. Live in a society where people will treat you based on your wealth, power, and achievements. I think every people must practice the so-called respect to each and everyone because we are all humans. Let us practice equality, equity, and live each other for the success of our society. Let us spread peace and love. Hindi mo lang tunay dakilan. Hanggat marami ang lungkot sa kahirapan, at ang hustisya ay mahalang sa mayaman. Habang may tagsulong at sila ang nasa tuktok, di matatapos itong gulong. Habang may tagsulong at sila ang nasa tuktok, di matatapos itong gulong. Di matatapos itong gulong. Di matatapos itong gulong. Di matatapos itong gulong. Di matatapos itong